Hello everyone out there. We are WordPress St. Petersburg. You are here in YouTube land and Facebook Live land for our Ask Us Anything Crowdsourcing WordPress Support Workshop. I am Jim True. I'm the lead organizer for WordPress St. Petersburg and WordPress Tampa Bay. And below me are our other organizers, Travis Lopes and Jennifer Novak. Elaine Simmons should be joining us soon, and then we will, when she'll pop in when she gets here. But anyway, let's get started on this little slideshow. As I said, we are WordPress St. Petersburg. We meet monthly on the first Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. We are going to be online only through 2022. Look, guys, I updated the date on the card. Our Meetup website is meetup.com/WordPress-St-Petersburg. If it's easier, just go to our website, which is wptampabay.org, where we have a list of all of our Meetup groups, and we have our Slack chat, our Facebook group link, and all of our history from our prior talks. WordPress St. Petersburg is a member of the WordPress Tampa Bay Network, which is wptampabay.org. This is a group of loosely affiliated Meetup groups that meet throughout Tampa Bay. That is WordPress St. Petersburg, Tampa, Newport Richey, and Brandon Valrico. Let's see. Our upcoming meetups and events. Next month on June 7th, we're going to be doing another one of these, our Ask Us Anything, like normal. And in July, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Newport Richey real quick. Daniel Shootsmith, and I cannot remember the lady's name, unfortunately, but she used to work with Daniel when he was in New York City doing meetup groups in New York. They've been running WP Talks on Twitter Spaces, and that's hashtag WP Talks. I tried to get more information about it, but unfortunately I couldn't get him to send me anything today. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like he did. I'll come back to it in a minute. Yeah, they don't have a link for it. Basically, I was looking to see if we could find a link with history so that you guys could find out about those, or a way to sign up for them so that you can at least be notified when they come back. They're taking the summer off to avoid burnout, and they're returning in September. Their last one was really good. It was he tends to talk about a lot of different topics specific to WordPress, but also specific to managing your work-life balance and stuff like that. So it's a really fascinating little, kind of like a podcast thing. But they've been doing theirs on Saturdays typically, and during the day, so that they could get more European feedback in there. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know what was going on over there in WordPress Newport Richey. But they're taking the summer off till September. As soon as I know more about when they're coming back, I will include it in our stuff. We are also taking July off. Since July 5th is the day after July 4th, we are going to have no meetup in July. We're going to take the day off and enjoy the month of July. Go to Disney, go SeaWorld, stay home. I don't care.
Stay home. It's too hot to do those local tourist attractions.
I know.
It's the worst time.
In July,
yeah. No, I'm going to get myself one of those $10 little kiddie pools and go out there with my puppy and just spray water in the air. So that's my idea of cooling it off in the summer. I've got us coming back in August, but I think we as leaders are going to discuss this, and we may end up taking the summer off too. I don't think there's any harm in it. Give us a chance to do some regrouping and see, how we can get some more actual classes and stuff back into our rotation instead of just doing these AMAs. So, okay, but we can discuss that, or our team will discuss that, and we'll run it out by you guys as well. All right, we are looking for speakers. If you have expertise in WordPress, web design, front end or back end, plugin reviews, theme reviews, anything pertinent to web design, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to talk about how to run your business efficiently in our remote times, we'd love to hear from you. If you've never spoken public before, no problem. This is all online, and you're never going to see anybody looking at you while you're talking, except us. This is also great for your resume, your LinkedIn, or your Twitter, so it's never a bad thing to have more things to add to your hireability stats. And if you're interested in talking at any of our live stream meetups for right now, please visit wptampabay.org, go to our speakers tab, and click on call for speakers. Our code of conduct tonight: there are no stupid questions except the one you didn't ask. If you don't ask any questions, we can't give you any answers. And we're going to limit our question discussions for 10 to 15 minutes per discussion or per question, so that any more than that, you should be hiring a consultant anyway. I forgot to check to see if we have anybody on in our chat yet. I don't see anybody out there yet. And everyone gets to speak, but no crosstalk, please. If you join us on the call, basically this just basically means that we try to minimize the amount of time that multiple people are talking at once, so that everyone can be heard. Okay, our dial-in etiquette. We're using StreamYard right now, and the invite link has been posted on our Facebook and our YouTube chat. When you click on that link, you'll be given a set of guest instructions. The link is there, but they're also available the minute you log in. That walks you through setting up your microphone and your camera, and it also makes sure that you're testing your connections properly, so that you test your mic and your speakers. You want to do that first before you actually connect to the site or connect to the stream. And if you're watching the stream through Facebook or YouTube, make sure that you mute the audio in those particular windows or tabs on your browser. And you'll know if the browser has, if it's Chrome or Firefox or Safari, you'll see a little speaker icon in the tab that lets you know that that tab actually has audio talking. And that will let you know if you've got Facebook or YouTube live on one of those. Because what happens is you'll get an echo going, and we'll mute you immediately. Anyway, that's that, and let's get started. It's time for questions. Ask us anything. So, I checked out our Meetup group, and we only really have like one question. We had one folk saying they're going to do nothing in particular. They just want to listen and learn, which is fine. That's kind of what we're here for. But one question we did have from Adam was about standardizing I think he made a mistype on the text here, but let me see. I'll type it in and share it real quick. Show. Oh, I didn't type that very well. Standardizing the fine spacing, look and feel in the theme. So this actually came into discussion because Elaine has an issue where she's got a plugin that she put on a site, and she needed to modify it because it wasn't working the way she needed it to work. And one of the things we run into very often, being people who do website stuff, and there's Elaine. Hello, Elaine. Welcome.
Hey, guys.
We just started to start talking about you, but we were talking about how when you take on a plugin or a theme, you typically want to customize it for the client or etc. But you want to make sure that when the theme comes down the road, or the plugin gets modified down the road, that you don't lose all the modifications you've done. Or, God forbid, you get hit by a bus, or you win the lottery, even better, and someone has to pick up where you left off and modify the changes that you may have created. So kind of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight, since that seemed to be the only question we've had so far, was going to be, what's a good way to isolate the changes you make to a theme or a plugin, and how to properly document it so that you don't lose it, but you also can easily turn it off in case the plugin changes, and you can test it again if you made your changes. So let's start with themes, because themes are pretty much like the bread and butter of WordPress. And typically when you're dealing with a theme and you're making modifications to it, the primary way is with child themes. Now, it depends on the amount of modifications you're making, though. If you're only making modifications to the styling, like you're adjusting the spacing, you're adjusting, trying to give more room for the text to breathe, changing the line height, maybe making the line height more consistent. You can do every bit of that in the customizer right now. Of course, that may change when Gutenberg goes all live, but for right now, we're going to talk about WordPress as it is right now, and you can do a lot of those changes in the customizer. What would you guys say would be your kind of cutoff point when you would go from customizer to, okay, time to make a child theme with a child theme style sheet?
I'm sure I'll be different than the most. I would say immediately.
Oh, I know you would, because you start from. We aren't going to talk to Travis yet, because he's going to start from scratch no matter what. But
But no, honestly, if you want the most direct control, if you're comfortable with CSS
yeah,
anyway, and
yeah. But
especially because
okay,
you know that
let's.
child style sheet you're going to create can easily be pushed to your CDN.
Yes.
It's more
But
easily
I was going to
cached.
say, my viewpoint would be, Travis, would being like, it depends on how much work you want to do on the subsite. Let's say
Yeah.
you actually do kind of like the theme that you bought. It was pretty solid. Like Generate Press is a pretty solid theme. Some of these themes are not too bad. Like even the Beaver Builder ones, if they've done the work in Beaver Builder and done the work to design their page, they wanted them the way they wanted to look, and even, honest to God, even the Elementor ones. When it comes down to it, what's your company or agency's job function? Are you more focused on SEO and content building? Then you don't give a damn about the theme. You just want to make it look good for them. So what would you? I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is what is your cutoff point? Like when you're making theme modifications for an existing site that you already like the styles on pretty much, but you're only making maybe like about, I don't know, like my cutoff is when I've gone past one screen in the customizer. Usually.
What is that supposed to mean? What
Like when you're like when you're the customizer and you've got the little box that says custom CSS.
Yeah.
When you're in there and you've gone past, like I can page down more than once or twice. That's too much for me. Yeah. That is typically where, if I have to really search for the changes they've made, then I would rather have it in a style sheet, I think. Again, for a lot of the same reasons Travis mentioned, which was because you can have it on a CDN, you can have it minified, and all that kind of stuff.
And you're less likely to have to like fight the overrides harder if you're just doing it directly with CSS. You can be more targeted in ways than you're probably not going to be able to.
Right.
The customizer, and be able to access things that might not be available in the customizer.
Yeah. Yeah, because my issue is like they've changed the way child themes are handled. They used to be so easy. I mean, like really easy. But now, don't you actually have to you have to actually include the style sheet inside your functions.php for the child theme? Isn't that correct?
That I don't.
Yeah, they've changed a lot of it. Yeah. So I mean, granted, there's a lot of child theme plugins that do it for you, but that was one thing that I noticed that they changed in how to handle the child theme, and it's no longer as easy as it used to be. Used to, you create a folder, say drop a styles.css in there, put the little heading at the top that looked a specific way, and to match what, and said based on so and so. That exact header page on the styles.css, the way it used to work. And then you would just include the style sheet as the very first line in your styles.css, and you were done. That's how easy it used to be. It's not that easy anymore.
I'm sure that will continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using just like code snippets if I had anything that was more than like fonts or colors or anything like that. And usually
you do your CSS through code snippets?
Yeah, if I need, because I was doing child themes and then like something went wonky and I cannot remember what it was, but something went wonky and made it a little bit more difficult. And I can't for the life of me remember what exactly happened. But I haven't found a need to go back to that.
Okay.
Because I've been using code snippets and because it's been, it wasn't like major things.
Right.
So that's worked for me.
That actually makes sense because I haven't tried that method yet, but I know it does work. And that's basically for you folks in the world land listening to us. We're talking about the code snippets plugin.
And I like that you can label them as well, so that if I have to go back, I've got my label, so I can find. Okay, I can find. Where that actual code snippet is easily, and I can also find the documentation of, okay, here's my logic. This is why I needed to do what I did, and here's what I did.
Gotcha. Hang on a second. Let me see if I've got it on this local. If I do, I do. Hang on. I'll bring it up and just share this screen. Give me just a second. Share.
Like one of the things you can start getting into if you start doing a child theme, is you could have like your own separate repository of these frequently used snippets that you could kind of pull in as like a composer dependency or something like into all these projects. And then like with SAS or something, you could start including them very easily and not have to duplicate all this code.
Yeah.
Which I know is probably a little more advanced for this question, but...
Yeah. And what Jen is talking about is this plugin here, Code Snippets Plus, or Code Snippets. It's actually, let's go to the plugins and I'll show it there so you can actually get the name of it. It's called
I like
Code
that you can put
Snippets.
the tags in there.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can organize them kind of like their own post type. You can give tags, descriptions. So like here's an example CSS one right there. It's got a really good code editor. You can define where you want it to run. Like if you only want this, like maybe you're modifying the admin area style sheets. You can have them run only in the admin area. So and I think it's actually doing the, basically I guess it's doing the require and loading it into the functions or do that, whatever that, I'm sure it's using some kind of a filter to do that with. I'm not even going to even begin to question how this happens. Oh, it's doing that. It's adding it in as a WP head filter. It's writing to the WP head filter is what it's doing and putting it right in there. So go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on top of you.
Yeah, the only time that I run into when I regretted using this was when it was like we had a project that started out with like there was like one minor PHP, but it was really only like a change, it was changing the text, like changing the title in WooCommerce.
Mm-hmm.
And with, one or two of those things, like, okay, no problem. But when it became like, more and more,
yeah,
like, okay, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Where are we going with this? Where are we going to end up?
And that's kind of the same thing when you're like dealing with like the functions.php. If you start adding a whole bunch of stuff to the functions.php for someone's theme, you've got to suddenly figure out what the hell all the stuff was that you added. So I don't mind doing that inside snippets because at least then I can keep track of exactly what it is, keep them isolated, and turn them on and off at will.
Yes.
I've got a lot more control. Plus, it's easier to export them.
Yes, it works, but looking back, I would have handled it differently.
Gotcha.
So, it still works. Everything's functional. Everything works as it should have. And will continue to do so. However, I would have handled it a little different.
Yeah. And what we were talking about, guys, when we were talking about the code, the customizer, if you weren't familiar with what that is, that's when you go into Appearance, Customize. Now, this is only available as long as you don't have full screen editing up on your theme. And why are you not doing anything? Wow. Wow. There it goes. It just took it a while. Okay, that's this right here. The customizer and additional CSS. This is the code. This basically gets loaded in the... where does it load, Travis? Does it load like the last spot or...
The customizer?
Yeah, like the theme. Any CSS you add in the customizer and the theme, it's going into the body at the top of the head, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
You're asking someone who does.
I know. Yeah, that's okay. But I want to say that's primarily the reason I tend to use it here because, like, for instance, if I wanted to make my paragraph text much, much, much bigger, I could go, I don't like how tiny it is. I could go font size 3M and boom, all my paragraphs go like that. Or if I could go, line height 1.5 REM or something. Ooh, nasty. So in this case, I'd want to go 3.5 or 3 REM or something. I don't know. I don't know my M's and REMs anymore. It's been too long since I've had to play with those. But typically, those are basically meaning... Yeah, anyway. We're not teaching a CSS class today. So if you want to learn CSS, there's plenty of places to learn it. And we're definitely not teaching it today here. But that's primarily the reason I use the customizer. I use it more for troubleshooting. Like if I'm in the site and I'm trying to figure out exactly why something is or isn't working, I either do I either do this in the inspector, which I won't be able to show you because don't think the tabs for inspector are shared when you do a tab.
You can do it split where it'll show in that window, right? Or does that still not get picked up?
Let's find out. Hang on, because I think I've got mine popped out right now. So let me see if I can pop it in. Show computed style sidebar. No. Where is it hiding at?
If you go into the three-dot menu on furthermost right in the toolbar and dock side.
Yeah, I got it. Hang on. Let's see if I can put it in there. Can you see it now?
No.
No?
It's unfortunate.
Oh, so it's hiding it. That's rude. Because I'm highlighting it. That's kind of weird. So it's not showing it? That's really sad. That's just rude as all get out. Because I'm like watching my little mouse and everything go over it and it's not doing it at all. That is really rude. Anyway. But yeah, that's typically what you'd want to do. I'm just going to kill this and stop sharing it. So anyway. I like the inspector because we have to go in there all the time and support. And it's the easiest way to find the stuff that's broken and highlight it out. I'd probably have to share the whole window is my guess if I wanted to show that. But anyway. So that was for theme modifications at the smallest level, at the CSS level. When you start dealing with the actual theme template files, that's when you really do have to look at doing the child theme or, modifying the theme itself. And if you modify the theme itself, then you're going to be, that's when you're supposed to be doing a child theme instead. So, or doing like Travis does and start from scratch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's
which why I preferred starting from scratch. Is just like you know everything that's there because you wrote it. Like there's no surprises. There's no having to write around what's
that does require you to know everything.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of the problem is like, okay, for I think Elaine, didn't we when we were doing yours, we were looking like a taxonomy builder, and so we used one of the helper scripts for doing the taxonomy. That's what I'm remembering anyway. Let me see.
What I was going to ask you was, why did we use members plugin? I can't really remember why we use members.
Because he had weird capabilities on his thing and they weren't easy to modify. Yeah, that's typically the only reason I ever install members is when a plugin or someone else's plugin has added ridiculously complicated capabilities and you need to easily modify them without trying to dig into the code. Because members lets you see exactly what was assigned and what was authorized and what was granted, and it's much easier to apply it to, multiple people at once using the members. And members is now Members Press, I believe, is what it's called. Didn't they change it? Yeah. So I'm trying to find isn't there a taxonomy or query helper page that helps you build your query loop and stuff like that?
I don't know. I don't think we used it at the time.
I do. I think we did.
You think we did?
Yeah, because I know I looked at something like that. Our query loop builder. There's a plugin. There's the bricks. Query loop, Bricks Academy, no. Loops and logic, no. Can't find that one. I know there used to be one back in the day before Gutenberg. Because when you were doing that site, Gutenberg was barely even a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was not as prevalent as it is now. And that's why we were looking at modifying the theme template files for you for that one. Because we had to actually, as I remember, and this is what I'm remembering, is that we had to modify your taxonomy theme templates in order to make the recipes and the other. We had to create a template for those two particular things. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the loop. Oh my God, it's the template parts WordPress visual hierarchy. Leave me alone, guys. I did this all the time when I was in pods, and I haven't had to do this in forever, and I don't remember where it is anymore. It's the template hierarchy, but I can't remember what it's called. It's a visual hierarchy. Visual template hierarchy. WordPress. Don't make me go over to pods and type in .hierarchy. Found it. WP hierarchy. Hang on one second. Gonna share another window. This will be fun. You're gonna love this one. Dun dun dun. No, it stopped. Almost hit stop cam. That's not what I wanted to do. Chrome tab. It is. Where did it go? There it is. There you go. Isn't that exciting?
Oh, that's what you were talking about. That's just the template hierarchy, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of need to know this to know how WordPress kind of works. So like in your case, you were talking about a custom taxonomy archive. So is the highlight where my mouse is actually showing up on the shared screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Can you read that, though? That's the problem. You
No.
want to zoom in a little more. Here, I'll zoom in. That's making everything big except the table below. So that's kind of pointless. Anyway, this thing that I'm hovering over is like you get archive page, and then as you go over to the right, it's author archive, category archive, custom post type archive, custom taxonomy archive. And this section in the middle tells you how to name the file, the PHP file, so that it will load automatically based on the naming structure by WordPress and say, okay, I'm the archive for that particular custom taxonomy.
And as we're reading through this chart, left to right, the first file it finds is the file that's going to load.
That's exactly right. Thank you. So if you want to use a specific archive file for the custom taxonomy at the term level, so let's say your taxonomy is entree, or no, that's not the right word. If the taxonomy archive is like regional specialties, like, by regionalities, you would have like taxonomy hyphen specialities hyphen Spanish.php, and that would load the very specific Spanish custom taxonomy archive for within the region's taxonomy. And the next one over would be taxonomy hyphen taxonomy, so that would be taxonomy hyphen regions.php, and then it would just go to taxonomy.php, and then it would go to archive.php. So it kind of falls through the set, is exactly what Travis was talking about. So this shows you how to name the file properly. And I think if you click on one of these, yes, it does load up the actual post type template documentation for each of those, supposedly, except this is really the out of date one.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, super out of date. So there is also a, this is the visual WordPress template hierarchy. There's also a, I'm going to go kill this guy. There's also a thing that helps you build your templates. That's what I'm looking for. There's something that helps you build your PHP templates in WordPress, and will help you build the query function for the taxonomy, all of that stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Travis?
Say that again?
It's a PHP, kind of like one of those, like a plugin helper, that helps you build the template file for your plugin. There's something like that for all of the WordPress loop.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called. I see the site.
I can see it in my head too, but I can't think of the name of it. That's the worst of trying to be crazy, because that's where I would recommend someone go to start with. But that is also, I don't know how much of that is pertinent anymore either with the new query block stuff. Because now, let me see if I can fire up my...
There's one this is not the one I think either of us are thinking of. I'll link it in the private chat.
Okay.
I just found.
That... No,
I'd seen it before, but this is pretty good.
This is
like
this is a complicated one, but it should work.
Yeah, but can you bring it up for real quick?
Yeah, let me do that. I'll share real quick. Hang on. Okay. Share. How are you guys feeling this? Are you feeling like overwhelmed by all this information? Or do you find it useful?
Taking it in.
Taking it all in. There you go. So this is
No,
the
but
WordPress.
this is a real good one. So this has all the different parameters of the WP query arguments.
Yeah.
And it gives you a visual version of how to like plugging in those different values, and it live updates on the right with what the PHP version of it is. So you can see as you make the changes on the left what that does in the code on the right.
Right, exactly. Like if you turn off paginate, you lose the no paging.
Yeah.
And ignore sticky. Kind of cool. All right. So like if let's see. Oh, nice. So you have to pay if you want this one.
Yeah. They have some parts of this set are paid, but like the
Right.
basic tools are pretty good.
So like, and it even gives you a nice little help text too, like retrieves post by post types default. So like if you had the recipe post type, you could pull that in. It would be post type array recipe. See, look, Elaine. See, args query post type array recipe. Like that. So kind of cool. Very useful actually.
But what's cooler about this thing, if you scroll up,
Uh-huh.
all the way up the page,
Oh,
and then click generators. So it's not just for WP query that they have it.
yeah. This was the one I was looking for. Was something
Click
like this.
that. That's a lot in there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot are pro though. But they've got the custom post type generator, cron job event generator, menu generator, post status generator, quick tags, register and queue scripts. Wow. Register and queue styles. Wow. Short code. Oh, I have no idea how to do those, so that'd be very useful. Sidebar, tax query. There you go. Elaine, this would be for using. This would be used for creating the loop for a taxonomy.
Nice.
Yeah, right there. And that would be for creating the taxonomy itself. So
like as long as you know the names of your taxonomies and your post types, this will actually let you get like down and dirty and like what you need without actually having to write the code.
Right.
Oh, wow, look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
That parameter builder. Wow.
Yeah.
This is really
Exactly.
powerful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Like I would
yeah,
actually use this just because it would be cool. It'd be a little quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. What's the name of this thing? It's called hasty.com tool.
WP-hasty.com.
Yeah. So generators and my snippets. So yeah, let's share this on the thingy down here on a banner. Create a banner. And show it. Here we go. Ah, Elaine, you lost your face. Ah! I don't like that. I don't like it. It hit Elaine. Hang on. I could remove that. There you go. Now you're back. I don't like it when banners hide people's faces. It's rude. So that is quite useful because that's how you build child themes and template files and stuff like that. So, yeah. Alrighty then. Where is the official child theme pagey from WordPress? Anyway, let's find out. WordPress.
So finding some of that stuff is hard because I actually went looking recently.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember because I hadn't done it in a while how to limit a custom theme template file.
Right.
How to limit that only to a specific post type. And I'm not talking in the file name. I'm talking like how you can have like how you can have different custom page templates.
Yes. Okay.
So you can set in the template comments in the top of the file for that to only be available for a specific post type or specific post types.
Yeah, that one's hard to find, but that is it's in the developer
It's somewhere.
handbook.
I couldn't. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I used to have to look that one up all the time because I've had to do that before too. I know exactly what you're talking about. And another one we ran into all the time at Pods was the fact that WordPress hard codes tags and categories to never include any other post types. Ever. So if you want them to include that, you have to modify that particular query in order to show them. So it's kind of rude. I hate that. Because a lot of people will just, turn categories on for their post types and then can't figure out why those post types aren't showing in their standard tags and categories archives. And that's exactly why. Because WordPress deliberately hard codes them out. And I think that is the stupidest thing in the world. So shame on you, WordPress. Shame, shame, shame.
But Travis, I'm surprised you're even bringing up creating these new archive pages and, the old, it just sounds like the old way, with
There
the,
isn't
with the,
a new way. That's the problem.
I thought it all went away with Gutenberg, or there was some other way now with Gutenberg or something.
Well, I mean, there's the query block, but it's not robust enough yet. That's the problem.
No,
You still have to do this. You still have to go to the theme handbook. You still have to do theme basics, because they do talk about, obviously they talk about block themes here, and the templates and template parts and all that kind of stuff, and converting a classic theme to a block theme so that you could take your existing theme with all of its template parts and do it. But there's still quite a bit of this that has to be done as PHP files, right? Yeah.
Kind of, because like this was a frustrating thing for me when I was working on the new Gravity Forms docs site, is we wanted to do like a query block and highlight some specific posts on the front end. But like I wanted to be able to control some of that stuff kind of like with a custom template file, to be able to pull in like a custom like image size and position like a certain tag a certain way, and you can't.
Yeah.
You're limited to the blocks they make available, and you don't have access to all your metadata and stuff with those built-in blocks.
Yeah. My guess is that some of that may be available within the theme JSON file, but meh. I haven't read this yet. I haven't looked at any of that. I still know how to do this method to most extent, because most of your pre-existing unblocked theme stuff, and honestly pretty much everything, is all handled this way still, Elaine. So you still have the loop, you still have everything else, all of your primary pieces.
I just wasn't sure where we were in the, in this whole evolution.
It depends on if the theme has been converted to blocks or not, or it has a block theme or not. So like for Generate Press and stuff like that, I don't think even, it's not a block theme. It's still using the theme, but it will recognize the block theme stuff, I think. You'd have to look at it. Each one is different, and they're all...
Oh, joy. Oh, joy. Yeah. Let's make it more complicated.
Oh, yeah. And it is, you really do have to look at each project and determine what can I do. That's why so often, when I did all of my stuff, I did it all with pods, because I could not stand dealing with the theme stuff. Because theme stuff drives you crazy after a while, But this is the source of that information, the theme handbook, and that is developer.wordpress.org/themes. So,
could you put that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. Yeah. And did we ever get anybody join us on chat? No, I guess not. Weird. It's that one. It's that one. developer.wordpress.org/themes. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. I like the WP Hasty for that one, because the WP Hasty helps you build these particular stuff. So that's it. And it's going to be, didn't see anything on Hasty about block stuff. Did you?
I don't remember seeing anything like that, no.
Yeah, I didn't either. So maybe it's in the Pro, because I ignored automatically anything that had the Pro tag. So for right now, so I'll look
I don't even
later.
see it there. No.
Yeah, nothing there. Generating a new block type is very involved.
Yeah, massively. Well, I mean, I know block patterns can be done using just a little bit of stuff, or supposedly it's a lot easier. But block patterns require you to use existing blocks to build stuff from. So anyway,
block types require registering on the front end and the back end.
Yeah. And so the next stage of that was going up on when you're customizing on top of a plugin, like in the case of what Elaine you were doing with the recipe manager stuff.
Yeah.
That plugin did things to kind of created a post type. It created capabilities for those post types. It created taxonomies for that post type, but then it hid them all.
It was bizarre.
Well, I know the reason why they do that is because they know that everybody's going to be doing categories and tags, and they're going to be managing everything from that. So the reason that all of those recipe manager plugins hit it was because they know the skill level of most people that would be using recipe manager plugins, and they're only familiar with using WordPress. So they knew that they were going to be just doing insert recipe on a post, like a blog post, because they wanted to make SEO wrappers, and you can't have just a recipe on a post. You have to have all your ads pop in, and you have to have your gigantic story in front of the recipe telling you why your recipe is so good, and how often you've made this recipe, and oh my god, isn't it lovely, and you know when my granny made this recipe, blah 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 blah, and like 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs later, maybe an entire novel later, you actually get the recipe down at the very bottom. You know what I'm talking about, right, Elaine?
Very annoying. Very annoying.
Yes. Yeah. I love recipes. Absolutely love them. I have yet to find a recipe manager plugin on WordPress or anywhere that I like. So
Maybe there's some paid ones that we don't know about.
no, they're all
No?
every single plugin that we looked at, Elaine, because I when you told me about the issue you were having, I went and immediately researched like about 25 to 30 of them. Every single one of them did custom post types and a custom taxonomy, and then hid them from the WordPress theme, and you had to insert the recipe into a post or link the recipe to a post in order to make it show, and then their plugin would make it display automatically down at the bottom. And I think that's what he's doing,
Okay.
which is why you're getting double recipes. Not getting double recipes on the taxonomy, you know, like you're not getting double recipes in the archive. You're only getting it on the recipe display because he's reinserting it using probably the post content filter is my guess, because we're using the post content filter to display it using your template, I think. Remember?
Yeah.
So, you know, with pods, you're using a pods template, calling that shortcode, I think, to display the recipe. Maybe.
It really was more like, depending on the theme, show the content and bring in the taxonomies after the content. So we had the taxonomies coming in later, but we really didn't mess with the content of the recipe.
Okay. Well, aren't you calling it with a shortcode though? Like inserting it into, like making it that recipe post show. Because by default, anytime you're doing a post template, he didn't have a template file for the recipe, I don't think, per se, that output the, you know, ingredients and the instructions and stuff like that.
I think one of the code snippets was an array with the title, and you know, we put in the stuff we wanted.
Yeah, we'll look at it again,
but it really was pulling in the taxonomies. Really, it was leaving the recipe, which was the content, to just be, and bringing in those taxonomies to show, and also getting rid of that stupid URL slug.
Yeah, well, that's the problem too, is that typically the URLs that plugin authors use for their custom post types are namespace for the plugin, and that's why they also hide that particular template or those particular post types and taxonomies. So we were trying to make use of it. We were trying to make it actually useful so that you wouldn't have to do extra work, you know, so that you could.
But here it is years later, and he added all that back in.
You didn't have to upgrade. You know, you could backdate or roll it back, you know, to one of the older versions if you still have a copy of it, and not update. And then you wouldn't have that problem. But that's another one too. That's kind of the caveat we were going to bring up, was that if you are working with another plugin or another theme and you have made modifications, you need to make sure that you have a backup, you have a staging site, and that you only update those particular themes or plugins on your staging site so that you don't damage what you have in production.
Yeah, because I think he drastically changed the plugin over time.
Probably because people asked for it, you know, and he still wanted to get money for it, so I get it. Yeah.
But I liked his first email. Where did you get this code? Who did this?
Well, and as I told you, the first response any plugin developer is going to give you is, you have custom code, remove it. Because they're only going to support their plugin. They just don't have the time to support custom theme code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They'll give you a snippet for doing things the way that they recommend doing it. But like we were doing it was trying to basically bypass everything they had done because we wanted to make it a visible, with an actual slug. See, I like using Event Planner and stuff like that because, yes, it's a custom post type, but you can control the slug that the events are shown on and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but I'll get you give me all the information I need, so I'll help you with that. I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you just wanted. Yeah, I just thought you wanted it for tonight, but that's fine.
No, I mean I would if it was not terribly ridiculously involved, but it's too.
It sounds involved.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we may be the only 4 people on this call at the moment. I don't know.
But still.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to
No.
bore people to death, and I think this is giving them something that they can actually use because it talks about how to find those things and how to do those things to modify your themes or your plugins. Well, we have no other questions that have popped through anywhere. Are you on Facebook, Elaine? Have you checked to see if there's anything popping in
Let
there?
me check.
Yeah. I mean, it should pop up in here, but I'm not seeing anything. All I've seen is what I've posted. But yeah, my guess is that the world is slowing down for the summer and everyone's going to go do their vacations and go be out in the sun. And no one wants to sit in a room on a Tuesday night and watch a live stream. So,
Not quite yet. Not until like the end of the month.
right.
If plugin sales revenues or anything to go off of.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you hit June, craters. Craters
Okay.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently, I guess WordPress's 19th anniversary is coming up sometime at the end of the month or in June or something. Because I got a notice that David Bissett's group, his WordPress South Florida group, is hosting one of their all hands meetup thingies to celebrate WordPress Day. So if I know more about it, I'll post out something about it. If it's after our next meetup, I'll do it on the next meetup. I'll talk about it. But if it's not before our next meetup, or if it is before our next meetup, I'll throw something out on the Facebook group about it. But I think that's pretty much it. So I think we're done. Alrighty. So as always, if you have enjoyed this wonderful discussion, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We need those likes. We need those subscribes. The more viewers we have on our videos and the more likes we get, supposedly, and the more subscribers specifically, it could possibly get us to the point where we might be able to do monetization. Wow, what a concept. If you, of course, visit our website at wptampabay.org. That is where all of our live streams and all of our meetup calendars and all of our everything is. So it's the place to be if you're in Tampa Bay. So,
But really, Jim wants you to subscribe to the YouTube channel because if we can get to 100,000 subscribers, he can finally get that plaque. Right there on the
A
wall.
spot for it right there.
yeah, right there.
Ready and waiting.
Ready and waiting. I've always wanted one. I want to be like one of the other people. I may start, if we take the summer off, I may really look at how to beef up our branding and start doing those horrible clickbaity thumbnails for our videos. Like, you did what? I hate those things.
5 reasons why you shouldn't use the WordPress customizer.
Exactly. Child themes? What are child themes? Yeah, I'm not going to mention the person's name, but he's one of those clickbaity YouTube WordPress channel people. And I see his titles and they look like something I'd want to listen to. And then all he is a freaking talking head. He never, ever shares any screens or shows how to do anything he's talking about. He's just a big talking head. And he makes a fortune at it. I hate it because his channels are clickbaity. So, anyway,
Quite often, the better the title, the less content there is.
That's kind of what I've noticed, except for, strangely enough, the folks from whose name always escapes me. They're one of the few channels I look at on a regular basis. They're the ones I get all my details for how to run a YouTube channel, how to do live streaming, how to do the editing on the YouTube and stuff like that. They have a phenomenal channel. I'll make a note of it and try to talk about it the next time. Because, yes, their titles are very clickbaity, but they're also very good. And they're fun because, like, when you're watching their YouTube channel, they have a little thing on the bottom. You can't see my mouse, but they have a little thing on the bottom of the screen that basically shows chapter markers in the video, so you know where you are in the video. So, like, if you're scanning it to go through it quickly, if you're like scrolling back and forth, you can easily get to the part you want to look at very quickly. But he also has like a little thing where he'll bring the screen in a little bit, and a little person will pop in on a blue screen, and he'll go, "Here, click this button to like and subscribe." It's very cute. But anyway, I'm not that organized. Someday, maybe, we'll see. But anyway, thank you again, everyone that joined us. Remember, we are going to be here next month, but we are going to take the month off in July. We will be back on June 3rd. Bright and shiny faces, and can't wait to see you all. Let me get our thing up here for the video, and I will say again, thank you, Travis and Elaine and Jennifer, for coming tonight and keeping me company. And thank you, our 4 viewers out on WordPress, on YouTube and Facebook Live or wherever, for coming in and watching us, even if you didn't say anything. We love you all. Okay. Where is that video? There it is. Thank you for watching a recorded session from WordPress St. Petersburg Meetup. We meet once a month on the first Tuesday of the month, live streaming online through our YouTube channel and Facebook group. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new videos are added. Find out more about WordPress St. Petersburg at our website at wptampabay.org.